Hi everyone, my name is Aziz, and today I will be teaching you how to pronounce numbers, the first 10 numbers, in Urdu and in Hindi. So I am from Pakistan and I speak Urdu there. That's like the main language that a lot of people speak there. And in India, actually, the main language is Hindi. They have a lot of other languages, beautiful languages, but they speak Hindi there. And something that is interesting to note is that Urdu and Hindi, because India and Pakistan used to be one country, Urdu and Hindi are spoken pretty much the same way. They're written very differently, and I don't know how to write Hindi, but that's why I added the Hindi here, just because if you know how to speak Urdu, you can say that you also know how to speak Hindi. So yeah, that's what I tell people when people ask me, do you know how to speak Hindi? I say, of course I do. So it's very impressive that I can say I know two languages when really I just know one, but they're the exact same language. Okay, so just the numbers in Urdu and Hindi are pronounced the same way, and that's why that's what I'm going to teach you today. So I've written them out over here. So one, I don't know why is my name appearing every time that's annoying. But anyway, here I have the numbers written out from 1 to 5 and 6 to 10 and in red. And then here I've written them in English. So I've written the way that you would say it in Urdu, but you know, I've just because I know a lot of you speak English, so I've written them out in English letters. And yeah, so let's just get started. So the first number is 1, which is ek. In Urdu, that's ek, and you can pronounce that as aik, or you can say ek. So like any way that you think is, you know, better written for you, you can like visualize it better. It's ache. So like a toothache, or you know what I mean? Like that word ache, when you have an ache, like a tummy ache or a toothache or a headache. So yeah, it's an ache. 1 means ache. So you could say I want ache ball, like right, which is you want 1 ball. And then there's do, which is 2. So do is actually very similar. You can tell it's dos, right? So uno, dos. In Spanish, 2 is dos. So yeah, it's just do. Instead of dos, it's do. So you can say that as like the English word though, right? So when you say although, yeah, so that's how it's pronounced do. All right. And then we have teen, right? So that's 3. 3 is teen. So it's like I've written it out as teen, like a teenager or something. But it's not pronounced with a t sound, it's pronounced with a t sound. So I understand that might be difficult if you aren't familiar with the accent, with different sounds in the accent. So like in Urdu, the t sound, which is it's there's no such equivalent in English because you don't have to say it in the English language. And so we have 2 different letters in Urdu, which is d and t. And I have spoken to so many friends over the years who have no idea whether there's a difference in what I'm saying. But if you're from Pakistan, then you'll hear it. It's t, d, but that's 1, d, and then there's t, t. So these are 2 distinct sounds. So it's not the d sound, it's the th sound. So I'm sorry if you cannot hear the difference and you think I'm a crazy person, but I promise you there's a difference, and it's pronounced teen, teen, teen. So 3 is teen. Okay, I want teen balls. I want teen phones or something. We all want 3 phones. Okay, so number 4 is jar, jar, jar. So if you speak Spanish, you'll be able to say the r sound the way that I say it at the end, jar, jar. So it's you kind of roll your R's. So it's not char. It's not char like an American would say. It's not char. It's jar, jar, right? And it's not chair or jar. It's jar. So that's why I added 2 A's here, because it's ah. It's not a or it's a, jar. Okay, so number 4 is jar. And then we have bunch, bunch. Again, I added the 2 A's because it's not a, it's not bench or punch, it's bunch, bunch. So the bunch. So the N is kind of subtle, but it's there. It's bunch, bunch. Okay, simple enough. That's 5. So now you know the first 5 numbers. So it's ek, do, teen, char, and bunch. Okay, so number 6 is che, che. So the ch sound is similar to the bunch ch sound, even though in here the j sound was more j and not cha. So it's not char, it's jar, right? That's number 4. But bunch is not bunch. I mean, bunch can be said bunch or bunch. Like, you know what I mean? There's a ch or like a j, like a very sharp or like a flowy one. So with che, it's not a sharp one. It's not j, it's che. So in fact, I should add one more H here because it's actually che. So there's like a h sound, che. Okay. And in English, that obviously doesn't make any sense if I add another H because it's wrong writing. There's no such thing as 2 H's together. But I'm just, trying to make you understand. So that it's like a ch sound, but then there's another H sound. So it's che. Or have you ever heard of the drink chai, which literally means tea? So if you go to like a Starbucks, or if you've seen in movies people ordering some kind of coffee, or tea, they go, "Oh, can I have a chai latte or something?" So it's kind of like that, chai, but instead of chai, it's che. Okay. So number 6 is che. Number 7 is sat, sat. So again, I've added the 2 A's because it's sat. And then the th sound is t. It's not the sound. You know how in the second number we had do, as in like a do, or like the in English, like the ball or the sky, right? So it's not the sound with th, it's the t sound. So it's like think or something. So sat, sat. And also, fun fact, in Urdu, sat also means together, but I don't know if there's any correlation. I don't think there is. But the number 7 in Urdu is pronounced sat. And in Urdu, the word also means, if I want to say, let's go together, I'll say, oh, let's go like sat, yeah. But yeah, that sat is number 7. And then, and it rhymes with bat, or like bath, yeah, so sat. And then 8 is art. So this is kind of tricky because I've written it th, which is the exact same way I've written this th up here, but they're pronounced very differently. So it's, again, the aa is for the ah sound, right? But the th is t, t. It's not th, it's not th, it's not the, it's t. So that's what's interesting about the Urdu language, is that there's many different letters for different sounds that you have to make when you're speaking the language. But in English, you don't need to make certain sounds, so you don't have those letters in your alphabet. But we have different letters for a d sound, for a th sound, for a d sound. And so, yeah, that's why in English, when I write them, I can only write them th. But in reality, there's, if I wrote them in Urdu, I would use 3 completely different letters. So yeah, it's t, t. Just try and repeat after me. T, art, art. So if you've ever watched like a British person speak in a British accent, they would pronounce it like, they would pronounce this word, they would pronounce as ought, right? I'm sorry, that's a really bad British accent, but that's how they would pronounce it, right? They would pronounce it ought, not art, not art. They would pronounce it ought. right? So try and think of that. Maybe when you say this, when you try and pronounce it, art, but yeah, but there's like a T at the end, art, right? Art, but yeah, okay. So number 9 is no, no. So I wrote it this way, but you can even write it as no, like, oops, as like no, or like when there's like a K, you know, for like no, you can write like no. So you can, any way that you think is better for you to like understand it, how to pronounce it, you say no or no, you know, like no or no, like any way you read this. But yeah, just write it for yourself that way. But I wrote this way because I pronounce it no, no. So it's like, it's not no, it's no. But like, you know how some people can say nah, that's fine, or nah, that's okay, or nah, I got it, right? It's kind of like that. No. No is number 9. And then finally number 10 is thus. Thus. So it's not dus. And again, this is kind of tricky because I would use a different letter in Urdu. It's not dus. We have a sound for duh. We have the duh sound, but this is actually the duh sound. The duh sound, the exact same duh sound that we had over here, we have with this one. So do was 2, and thus is 10. So it's like bus, but with the th. So I guess you could also, if you, this is easier for you, there is a word in English called thus, right? So he did this, thus I went here, or he told me this, thus, you know, this happened. So yeah, you could say like that, thus, thus. Okay, so that's the first 10 numbers in the Urdu language and even in the Hindi language. So now you know how to say first 10 numbers in 2 different languages, which is awesome. So you can repeat after me, but yeah, starting from 1, it's ek, do, teen, char, panch, छः, सात, आठ, नौ, and das. That's the first 10 numbers. I keep wanting to say letters for some reason, but it's not letters, it's numbers. Okay, well, I hope you all enjoyed hearing me talk about numbers in Urdu and in Hindi, and it's a beautiful language. I highly recommend, both of them are. I just know Urdu very well. So if you want, you can, you know, Google more things about the language. You can try and learn it. It's fascinating. It's very interesting. But yeah, I'll see you all next time.